Yo guys, what is up? It's me, Sam, back again. A couple of you guys requested this video, so I thought, why not? I've got a bunch of time to kill in quarantine, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it. This is my stats and extracurriculars video, as well as some advice about the college process based on my experience. Now, I know that these videos are kind of cliche, so I actually made a Reddit post on a college results subreddit about a month ago, so I'm going to link that in the description. If you don't want to hear me talk for about 10-15 minutes or so, however long this video turns out to be, so go and click that link in the description. If you just want to read through it, I completely get it. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and list off pretty much everything that went down in my applications. So first things first, if you didn't watch my college decision reaction video, I'm going to go ahead and list off the results from the colleges that I got in the order that I received them. So first decision I got was from the University of Texas at Dallas. I was admitted with $16,000 a year in merit scholarships. Then I was admitted into UT Austin, and I was also admitted into the Liberal Arts Honors Program and invited to apply for the Dedman Distinguished Scholars Program, which is a full ride plus stipend for liberal arts students, but I was not selected. It's very competitive. Then I was deferred from Yale, so I was not admitted, I was not rejected. I applied early action and they decided to re-review my application for the regular decision round, so didn't get a final decision there at first. Then all of the other decisions started to come back, so I was admitted into American University and the Sacra Scholars Program with $22,000 a year in merit aid. Then I was admitted into George Washington University and their University Honors Program with $20K a year in merit aid. Then waitlisted at Claremont McKenna, rejected by Pomona, rejected by Johns Hopkins. Then I was rejected by Brown, and after that deferral from Yale, I was rejected by Yale as well. So yeah, that was fun. And then finally, I was waitlisted by Tulane. So overall, I had a 4-4-2 record among the 10 schools that I applied to, and I decided to stay on the waitlist at Claremont McKenna for now, but I have not yet received a final decision, so we'll see what happens there. Okay, so now that you guys know exactly what the results I got were, I'm going to go ahead and talk about me and my stats, who I am as an applicant, what I think went well for me, and what I think went poorly for me, because obviously I was very successful with my safety schools, but not nearly as much, not really any success at all with my reaches. So yeah, that's kind of how it goes, but I'll dive into this. Okay, so first and foremost, what are my demographics? Sam, who the hell are you? So as you can probably tell, I'm about as white as winter in Alaska. That's fairly obvious. I am a Texas resident in the DFW area. I go to a competitive suburban public school. I come from a middle-class family, and I am a dual citizen of both the United States and New Zealand, the latter being through my father. And I didn't have any legacy anywhere I applied, but both of my parents went to college, so I'm not a first-gen student. The major that I applied to every single college for was international relations, and I put history as my second choice major everywhere. So it was the same at every single college that I applied to. So now I'm going to go through my stats, starting with my grades from high school. I'm going to make this really quick just because numbers are just numbers. There's nothing more to them than that. So for grades, I'm going to go with what was on my mid-year report, which I submitted to all my Common App schools. So for my GPA, I had a 3.98 unweighted GPA, and for my weighted GPA, it's really weird at my school. We use a 6.0 scale, which is really weird, but for most of you guys, you probably use a 5.0 scale if you're using weighted GPA, right? So on that 5.0 scale, it's somewhere between 4.4 and 4.5, somewhere in there. So I took quite a few AP classes, but more on that in a minute. So for standardized testing, I took both the SAT and the ACT. Not going to talk too much about them, but for the SAT, I got a 1500, 710 on the reading and writing, a 790 on the math, and then 646 on the essay, which should be 16 out of 24. I only submitted that to UT, American, and GW, so I only submitted that to my safeties. And then for the ACT, which I submitted everywhere, safeties and reaches alike, I got a 34, which was a 34 on English, a 30 on math, a 35 on reading, and a 36 on science. My first time, I have no idea why I chose to retake it. My first score was completely fine, but I retook it. I got a 35 this time, 36 on English, and then 34 on the other three sections, and both times I got a 10 out of 12 on the essay. Now, I also took SAT subject tests. I got an 800 on world history and 800 on US history and 770 on math level 1. I didn't submit math level 1 anywhere. So yeah, those were my stats. And then also for AP courses, I've taken 7 AP tests so far, and I'm supposed to have taken 13 by the time I graduate. My school doesn't have IB. So I got 5s on human geography, world history, US history, European history, English language, and Spanish language, and then I got 3 on physics 1. I'm not as good at STEM, so yeah, there's that. Alright, next up, I'm going to list the 5 awards that I put on my Common App. So the first award that I put was State Best Delegate at Model United Nations. I won the Best Delegate Award in the Security Council at a Model UN State Conference my junior year, which is a pretty big deal because all of the hyper-competitive people get put in Security Council, so somehow I ended up winning the Best Delegate Award, and so I put that as my number 1 award or honor on Common App for that reason. Next up, I put State Distinguished Delegate for Youth in Government as my second award. It's given to about the top 10 delegates out of over 150 or so at the state competition, and I was really involved in that competition. That award meant a lot to me, so I put that number 2. Third, I put my region band results from my sophomore year. I placed 6th in my region for concert band. Fourth, I put an $800 service project grant that I received from an international headquarters of a humanitarian organization, which I did as part of a service project with my friends. And then 5th, I put an outstanding position or research paper that I did at the same Model UN conference where I won the Best Delegate Award. So those were my 5 Common App awards. Probably not the strongest compared to the applicants who did get into my reach schools, but I think they held up okay. They weren't amazing, and now I'll get into the extracurriculars that accompany these awards. So first of all, my first extracurricular activity on the Common App was Model United Nations, which I was in for all 4 years of high school. I love this club. I went to state all 4 years, and I won a couple of regional awards over the years, but then I won that state Best Delegate Award, so that was a pretty big deal. And then my senior year, I'm serving as secretary for my club's school and a state level officer for the entire program. So there's only 6 state officers, and there's a very competitive interview process, and I was ultimately selected. So that was definitely why I made it my number 1 activity. Love this club. My second club was Youth in Government, which is somewhat similar, but it's more focused on simulating the Texas state government, if that makes sense. So I was really involved with this too, all 4 years. Growing involvement. I started winning awards during my sophomore and junior year. I was vice president of my club and then president in my junior and senior years respectively. I was also a committee chair my senior year as well, so I had a big role in leading my club. As president, I was usually leading about 100 people for about an hour straight, so it taught me a lot in terms of leadership, and it was something that I used in a lot of my supplemental essays. I also ran for a state level officer position in this club, but I came second at state, so narrowly missed out on that, but that's okay. And then for my third activity on the Common App, I put high school band. Involves all 4 years, sort of the same thing. I love music and I love my instrument. I play euphonium and marching baritone, but I didn't really have the greatest experience in band in high school. I loved middle school band, but I just didn't feel the same passion after a while in high school, so I did not end up trying out for band leadership team, and I only made region band twice, no all-state area, anything like that. I made region band in my sophomore and senior years, and that was pretty much it in terms of recognition in band. So I just sort of decided to focus on the extracurriculars that spoke to me more, and maybe that sense of authenticity came back to bite me in the butt a little bit, but who knows. The fourth activity I put was an independent study program that's offered at my school. It's selective. You have to apply and interview to get in, and it allows you to basically just choose any topic you want, and you work with a salaried professional in the field that you end up choosing. So it's a pretty cool program. I got a lot of great opportunities. I met with people on my city council, members of my school district's board, all that kind of stuff. And what I ended up doing was I studied local government administration, and I put together, as some of my projects, I produced reviews of past city budgets, and I actually designed my own proposal for my city's fiscal year budget for next year, which I'm supposed to present to city council fairly soon, probably on a Zoom meeting of some sort. So that was pretty cool. I got a lot of networking opportunities, and it taught me a lot about local politics. So yeah. The next activity that I did was I was a homeless shelter volunteer. Did this all throughout high school. I've been doing this since I was really young, actually, before I even started going to elementary school. It's been something that I've done with my family for years, and would just do food drives every few weeks or so, and occasionally my friends and I, who were in band, we would put together concerts for the residents and go down and play for them, which I had a really fun time doing, organizing, leading, so that was really great time. And it's really just one of those simpler things that I felt like I got a lot out of, really, even though on paper it doesn't seem like that much. The next activity I was involved in was I was co-president of History Club for my senior year, and then a public affairs officer during my junior year. And basically I kind of pushed the club towards becoming a student-run tutoring service, essentially. So initially we just started as a academic interest club, but people started asking for help on AP tests, multiple choice tests, just stuff you do in class. And so we started holding review sessions. We reached hundreds of students and helped them prepare for AP exams, for AP World, AP US History. So gained a lot of recognition from teachers as well. So I thought it was a pretty cool experience. I really enjoyed being in this club as well. Next up, I was a member of an international humanitarian organization during my sophomore year with some friends. This is where we got that $800 service grant for a service project we did for refugees of African descent in the DFW area. So we raised about $1,000 in cash, and then also about $1,000 in food for one of our projects, and that was where we got that money from. But it unfortunately died after sophomore year. And then some of the miscellaneous things that I put in the other activities section, or just tacked at the bottom, were that I'm a self-employed history tutor. I occasionally would go and help tutor people if they needed help on AP World or AP US History, so just earned a little bit of money on the side there. I was also a member of the board of directors at my local YMCA as one of 2 students for my participation in YMCA Youth in Government, which I discussed previously. I did a paid summer program, though. I know those are kind of useless on resumes, but it taught me a lot about my passion for IR, so I decided to put it on there anyway. And then you have the basic stuff, just like NHS, National Spanish Honor Society. I was a College Board Opportunity Student Ambassador, and I received National Merit Commended recognition. So yeah, that's pretty much me and my story throughout high school. And now I'm going to transition a little bit into my essays. So I'm not really going to give much advice on my essays, but I wrote passionately and genuinely, I felt. But from what I've seen, a lot of the essays that get people into top schools like Ivy Leagues, Caltech, MIT, Stanford, you get the picture. A lot of them sound really pretentious to me, and I just wanted to preserve my authenticity when I wrote. And maybe that hurt me. Maybe I'm just not good enough for these schools. I have no idea. But I wrote from the heart. And at some places it obviously worked, but at others it really didn't. But I would just advise to you all that you write passionately, you write genuinely, and remember that essays are the thing that make colleges distinguish you from other applicants, because they're the only way that they get to know you and your voice and what you're actually passionate about. And a resume is just a list of achievements and some numbers. So they want real people, and I'll get a little bit more into what I think you should do in order to get yourself accepted and sort of where I messed up. But show your voice. Even if you have to dilute it a little bit to make it sound good to where they want to take you, you got to show your voice, or else they're never going to want to take you. Do not boast about your extracurriculars. Do not boast about your grades, for the love of God. They can already see that in your resume. Focus on you, somehow, anyhow. Damn, I sound a little bit jaded. But now I'm going to get into some of my advice for you guys, and this is going to be the last section here. So I'm not going to try and speculate why I got denied from pretty much all of my reach schools aside from Claremont McKenna, but you know, it is what it is. It happened for a reason, and now I'm going to give a little bit of advice about what that reason might be. And I think a lot of the time what gets people confused is that they show a lot of passion throughout high school, and they put a lot of energy into what they do, and they genuinely enjoy it, but they get rejected. And then people who boost themselves get great resumes, great test scores, and just focus on trying to get into these colleges without showing their passions, sometimes can be more successful. And I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't be passionate, but if you're looking for results, honestly, the right thing to do might be to grind it out just to get into college, because these institutions like Yale, Harvard, Princeton, whatever, they're not really looking for passionate students. Passion is great to them, but really they're looking for students who are going to represent their institution well once they graduate. You know, they'll go on to some Fortune 500 company, or they'll invent some amazing shit, or they'll go on to be a very influential politician, something like that, where they will represent the institution well. And a lot of the time that just comes with pure ambition, not passion. And you know, I hate to say it, but I kind of think I've realized that's how it is. You might want to call me cynical, jaded, whatever. I don't care. Leave a dislike on this video if you want. And this is just my opinion, and it's probably what a lot of admission officers honestly think. But despite this, I would encourage all of you guys to just be passionate about what you do in high school. Otherwise, if you just focus on grinding it out for college only, and if you end up like me getting rejected everywhere but your safeties, you know, you're going to be depressed as hell. You're going to feel really, really inadequate. I mean, it sucks, it really does, but just focus on something where you feel like you're not regretful because you did what you enjoyed in high school, because these are the last years of your childhood, okay? So do not just surrender them so that you get into Harvard or you get into Stanford or wherever. So please just keep that in mind. I would just say be passionate, and if these schools cannot see that, then they're missing out on you, bro. Go to your safety and kill it there, and you know, just represent yourself and who you are, because that's all you can really do. So basically this was just my story throughout all of high school, and I hope it helped you guys out, gave you guys a little perspective on maybe why I didn't get into some of the schools that I got rejected from and why I got into the ones that I was admitted to. So just sort of clearing it up and giving you a little bit of context on who I am and how I fared in the college process. So yeah, again, thanks for watching. Really appreciate the attention. So yeah, good luck to all of you who are applying in the future, and yeah, peace out, guys.